Welcome back to the Pickle Pulse, and we are here on an absolute emergency pod. I called Christie in the middle of the afternoon, freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, MLP Draft was last night.
Right?
It was so good. Other than I do have some beefs with them just cutting off the draft at like pick number 19 for some random
It was
spot.
pick number 19, and then it was like constantly refreshing.
Yeah.
MajorLeaguePickleball.net.com, whatever it is, but like until whatever 10 p.m. at night last night.
So
Yeah, I'm mad about it too.
Do better. Do better. I mean, come on. We're all the pickleball geeks like us are out there. We're
Right.
excited. We want to see what's going on.
Right, we want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Secondly, throwing off to a random guy at a podium, just like the NFL does not create the NFL vibe. So maybe work on that too. It just seemed a bit awkward to me. So if the producers or directors out there listening, the Pickle Pulse does not approve of that format.
Yeah, it was a nice try. Good effort.
Yes.
I liked it. And now to Bruce. Was
That's
it Bruce
it.
Popko?
Yeah, that's it.
All
And he
right.
stood there randomly. He goes, and this pick is going to be, and yes, wow. So I called Christie because I want to break down all the teams. I want to give some predictions. I am super excited. If you guys have not been watching MLP for the last couple of years, this format is hands down the most exciting tournament format in all of pickleball, because you're going to have teams, 12 teams of 4 players, 2 men and 2 women, that are going to be competing as a team in gender doubles, so men's, women's, and then 2 mixed matches to decide the end of it. And if for some reason it's tied 2 games to 2, then it goes into what's called a dream breaker, where you will play 4 points in singles and constantly rotate out through your team. So whoever one team will have an advantage by being able to dictate their players first in singles, like who's going to go in what order, and then the other team will retaliate and do their order. And that's where you get really fun stuff like Anna Lee Waters playing Tyler Loong.
Right.
And Tyler got 1 whole point. Way to go, Ty, against Anna Lee. But that was exciting because you always wonder, like, how will the girls do against the guys in singles? So you get to see that in MLP.
Right.
So
I also think the other exciting thing about MLP is because it is draft style, you're seeing matchups that you would never otherwise see.
That's
you're
right.
seeing, I should say, partnerships playing against other partnerships that are so unique that would never otherwise happen, which is really cool.
yeah, I think it's really rad. And the way that they did it this time was amazing for all the fantasy football geeks out there, because it was just like a fantasy football draft where each team was given 500,000 points, and then they had the option to buy an additional 500,000 points at $1 per point. Okay, so there was 1 million points to be bid for your 4 players, and then as a GM, you have to do your absolute best in putting together the best team.
Yep.
So we're going to break down Premier level. That is the top players in the world doing this. And I'll just get right started. And if that's okay with you, Chrissy, did I miss anything?
I say let's roll.
All
Let's
right,
do
good.
it. I love it.
So you have the Arizona Drive. The Arizona Drive picked up Andre Diascu, Dylan Frazier, Lacey Schneeman, and Caitlin Christian. Okay, they ended up spending 985,000 of their points. And I think that's a little nugget that I'm going to throw in each one. All right, so I'm just going to break down the players first, and then we'll go back and talk about the individual teams. The second is the Columbus Sliders. So they used all 1 million of their points, and they got Riley Newman, Megan Dizon, Connor Garnett, and Brooke Buckner. Okay. The next is Dallas Pickleball Club. I love the name of that one. It's it reminds me of the movie with Matthew McConaughey every time. The Dallas Buyers Club. It's a really good movie if you haven't watched it. They spent 881,000, so they left 119,000 on the table there. And so that's one of the lower spending teams, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. They got JW and Georgia Johnson, which is really cool. Hurricane Tyra Black, and then Augie Gee did make Premier. So that's really cool to take a flyer on an up-and-comer. DC Pickleball Club. Let's go, DC.
Yes.
Come on, that's our squad. The other cool thing is that these teams are going to be together potentially for the next 3 years. So these are our guys for the next couple of years, unless they get traded away. All right, DC crushed, in my opinion. So stoked because we got Big Papa Jimmy, James Ignatowicz. We got Rachel Rohrbacher, one of the best female players in the game right now. Deckel Barr, who is just an absolute beast. And then Elise Jones, who is the scrappiest and most fun player.
I know. I love her.
So that's our DC Pickleball Club. Next, we have the Los Angeles Mad Drops. the Mad Drops drafted Catherine Parento, Thomas Wilson, Jade Kawamoto, and Hunter Johnson. Very interesting squad there. We have the New Jersey Fives coming in. They got Annalie Waters with the second pick overall. They picked up Zane Naversel next, then Mari Humberg, which isn't a name that we hear a lot, but I know she's an up-and-comer, and I've seen her on other podcasts. She's very good.
Fun to watch. She's a good one.
And quite a strong player. And then Will Howells as well. And it's interesting how he slipped into Premier because I didn't know if I was going to see his name or not.
Unexpected.
Yeah. And he wasn't even one of the last picks. So very, very interesting. The New York Hustlers, which have typically not done well because for some reason, I don't know if they don't know what they're doing drafting, but they took a flyer on Jack Sock at pick number 6.
Shocked.
And
Didn't see it coming.
We're going to talk about that in a second because that's definitely the first topic after we're done breaking down the teams. They picked up Jackie Kawamoto, Jade's sister, Leah Jansen, and then CJ Klinger, who won the Challenger League last season and was MVP. So he's moved up. I think that's a great pick for the next 3 years because we don't know where that kid's going to be. Orlando Squeeze, one of the premier teams up until this point, and they've got a couple of championships under their belt. They've got Federico Staxrud, Vivian David, Christie's favorite player, Paris Todd, and Jay DeVilliers. That is a strong squad. The next is the Seattle Pioneers. They went bonkers on the first pick, and they spent $840,000 on the one and only Ben Johns. Will he be worth it?
Crazy.
All right. And they actually only spent $863,000 total. All right. So that's something that needs to be talked about.
Yes.
The St. Louis Shock, they took Anna Bright with their first pick, Hayden Patriquin and Gabe Tardio, 2 young studs. And then is it Katie Fahey or is it Kate Fahey?
Kate Fahey.
Okay.
Maybe.
This is the
Which
Rachel
tells you something
Rohrbacher
that
of last year.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Pronounce her name, but that says something that we don't know, and Anna Bright picked her.
Anna Bright is an evil genius when it comes to noticing talent. So I'm going to bet she's going to be a good studly player.
I think that she'll be just fine. My thought, well, we'll talk about her a little bit later.
Okay. I think we should circle back to that.
I got something else to say. Yeah.
All right. The next team is the Texas Ranchers, where you've got Christian Alshon, one of my faves, Etta Wright, Tina Pisnick, and then Pablo Tejas.
Yep.
Another pretty solid squad they put together. And then the last is the Utah Black Diamonds. Utah had the weirdest draft strategy of the whole draft. And then you didn't hear from them until pick number 19.
Right.
So,
also shocking. Like, where are you, Utah? The whole time, even Dave Fleming and Hannah Johns were sitting there saying, I don't know where they are, but they're sitting back waiting for something.
I mean, I would love to talk to their GM and find out, like, where was your head at on this?
Right.
And that. So they picked Tyson McGuffin, Callie Smith, Tyler Loong, and then our one and only.
So excited.
Alex
Let's
Trong.
Go, Alex.
So,
I am so excited to see that.
If you don't know Alex, we've talked about her in the past. She is our star out of the DC region, and that she has come up here through her teenage years. I think she's still 19. I don't even think she's 20 yet.
Yeah, she's not 20. She can't drink. She can't, but she can beat us all at pickleball. So.
She is so awesome, and we love her. And, you know, we're just so stoked to see she made an announcement this week that she's now on the PPA tour.
Also,
and she's in North Carolina playing her first PPA tournament after ruling the APP for the last couple of years.
Playing her first PPA tournament with Colin Johns.
Yeah, that's not bad.
They got a win today. Yes.
They did.
They did.
Wow.
I can't remember who they played, but awesome. And they're playing Thomas and Vivian tomorrow. So
super stoked for her. But that says a whole lot about Colin Johns right now. And that, you know, where is his mixed game at? Is he's having to ask Alex, which is probably top 50 female in the world and an up and comer. But
clearly,
it's interesting pick. Stoked for her. Yeah. And I hope they do really, really well. Alex, we're always rooting for you.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about some teams. Yeah. And I think the first thing we should talk about is the wacky strategy of the Utah Black Diamonds.
Yeah, I don't really understand this. Like you said, I would be curious about talking to their GM. Like we mentioned, they sat on the draft for 19 picks. They just watched, people go by. And I'm actually pulling up their amount spent. They only spent $497,000. So I think that what that tells us is they didn't do the additional $500,000.
They didn't want to spend any money.
Right. They didn't want to spend money. So that also brings up a point of, what is their goal?
Yeah.
Which is curious. And I can't take credit for this idea. I think I heard Dave Fleming say it last night on the broadcast, but he mentioned, we kind of go with the assumption that everybody's picking a team to win. Of course. Okay. There's no other reason we're doing this, right? But he mentioned that there might be other motives for a team, such as one could be getting a team from your local area. So you, as the Utah Black Diamonds, you're saying, well, I don't really want a player that is outside of Utah because I want to bring people I want to have a hometown team that's truly from
that is a Utah team.
That could be a Utah team. Exactly.
Wow,
or
good
like
nugget.
A regional team. Exactly.
And
so,
the reason she says that, for you guys who aren't as geeky as us, is Callie, Tyler, and Alex all live in Utah. And Tyson's up the road in I think
Idaho.
Yeah, that's
around
right.
there. So a regional team. So what that does for your fan base is it makes your fans really excited about who their people are. So that could be one motivation. So if it's of course to win, we think that that's first and foremost. It could also be like a regionally picked team. Another piece that Dave Fleming mentioned was that it's possible that they want a marketable team. Like they're trying to get publicity for their team. So that could be another angle, like for instance, the BLQK.
Yep. The first team. Yeah.
Yes. They were coffee. They were trying to get, that was what the product that they were representing.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So I had to look it up.
They didn't do their job very well.
There you go. But could that be another motivation for pulling a team together? Is it more publicity, marketing, putting a product out there potentially? I mean, that's the direction we might be going.
Well, it's interesting you say that, in that it's cool to have the hometown crowd behind you, but they're not going to stay behind you if you're losing.
I agree with that.
And this team is very suspect. And there's a couple of reasons why. For people that don't know, Tyler Leung and Tyson McGuffin don't like each other.
Right. There's a little bit of beef there.
There's a lot of beef there where Tyson was cursing at him one of the last times that they played together and chasing him off the court. And it was quite an aggressive showing.
Yes.
From an aggressive guy.
Right.
I've also already heard, I don't know if this is true, but Tyson is asking for a trade already.
I have heard that same rumor.
He does not want to play on this team.
Yep.
What does that do for the morale?
We're less than 24 hours out from when this happened. So
correct. And if we're hearing it down in the peanut gallery, that means that there's lots of chirps up high.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
So I think I'm excited for Alex to make the team. I'm really sad this is her first team, though.
Right. I agree with that. I hope that the drama settles. I hope that it's smoothed over. I hope that maybe we even have misinformation. I hope it's kind of a situation where I hope we're wrong and maybe everything is kosher and they can pull together. But I agree with you. From the rumblings that are out there, it might be a difficult start for them. But we'll see how it goes.
I mean, in the end, I think they have a pretty good squad. I don't think the players on there are bad. Are they going to be able to get along and gel together?
Right.
And for spending that little amount of money, I guess they did a good job. But what GM in the world picks Tyson and Tyler and says this is a good idea?
Well, you know where I'm going to go with this, Brian.
What's that?
I'm going to go to pickleball memes. Maybe they have something to do with it because yet again, I think this is like the third consecutive time I've mentioned pickleball memes. For those of you, I know I've mentioned it a few times. This is an Instagram handle out there, pickleball memes. Again, I don't know who runs it. They are genius. And what they came up with from the Tyler and Tyson feud. You can't, it's just gold.
Yeah.
So go take a peek at pickleball memes on Instagram.
All right. So
maybe they ran it. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay. They just want to stir it up to get good memes.
I got nothing else. So that's what I'm going with.
The second thing that I want to talk about is Jack Sock.
Okay.
All right. So the New York Hustlers take Jack Sock at the 6th pick overall. All right. And I think I know why. Okay. I mean, number one, he's Jack Sock. He's fun. He's entertaining. He's going to be a good partner in MLP.
He's a big name. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. But does he deserve the 6th pick this early in his career when he's not making finals, not even semifinals for the most part?
Right. I mean, my answer would be no. But that's a big name to have on your team. And I guess, the thing that I can do, play devil's advocate, you mentioned this team is going to be together for years. this is where he is today, they might be looking down the road
They
at
could
the end
be
of the
genius.
year.
They could be.
Right.
And they also picked up CJ Klinger as their other male partner.
Correct.
So they've got two guys with really high ceilings on there.
Exactly.
The question is, are they going to be able to hang this year?
Right.
And I think that's what's really, really, because they still have Jackie Kawamoto and Leia as their females. So Leia's a very strong and solid person. Jackie's been playing great. So I think on the female side, they have a shot, but this isn't a team I'm super high on yet because I'm interested to see how CJ and Jack play together.
Right. No, I'd be curious to see as well. I think that this is a long-term goal. Yeah. This is not necessarily short-term like you're saying. Yeah.
All right. So the next team I want to talk about is the Fives, Christy, because it's got our girl ALW, Anna Lee Waters.
I know.
And they spent a lot of money to grab her at number 2. But I think very, very strategically and well picked up Zane next. And
I love that. I actually love that combination.
I do too.
I think the energy there is going to be really good. I think the other thing at play with this draft choice is Anna Lee and Lee's relationship with the GM of the Fives.
She's played for them already.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly. So they picked up Anna Lee knowing that Anna Lee comes with Lee. And that is huge for coaching and strategy and energy and whatnot. So not only you're getting the number one player, you're getting the number one coach out there as well, which I love. Then you added Zane, as you're saying, who's a great partnership for this. I mean, Zane is feisty, fiery, good energy. I think it's going to be a great combination with the two of them. I hope the two of them play mixed together. I don't know if that's how it's going to go down though.
But the whole team as a whole is questionable.
Okay.
And the reason being is you've got Mari Humberg and Will Howells, very unproven talent on the other side. So let's say, yes, maybe Anna Lee and Mari win because Anna Lee is that good. She can win with just about anyone, right?
She's fine.
All right, so
Call
you'll
me
give them
Anna
that.
Lee. You'll still win.
I don't see Will Howells and Zane beating a ton of the men.
I think that will be tricky.
Zane's going to have to play really big, or maybe I am just not, my knowledge on Will Howells isn't there yet. I have seen a couple of matches with him, and he's good, but he's never made a splash.
Right. I think the same thing when I see that name. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know much about you, so that makes me think you haven't made a splash. However, I also believe that, again, Anna Lee and Lee have a good relationship with the ownership team of the Fives. I think that this is something by design. I don't think that they're making mistakes. I think that Anna Lee and Lee probably had a hand in this, and they must know something. They must see something at least. Okay. I'm just a hunch. Because
I can't wait to watch all of this play out because I mean, I've been waiting for MLP now for 6-8 months. It's been a while,
right?
Since we've seen some good stuff. The next team I want to talk about is the Seattle Pioneers, because they did the opposite of the team who doesn't want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the Pioneers just went all in on Ben Johns. And they go, look, we're going to take the best player in the world.
Yeah.
And then we don't care. Whoever we put him with, he's going to win.
That's what they're thinking. Yep.
But this strategy is flawed.
I agree with you.
And
I think this was a mistake. Yeah.
I think that this team is going to struggle mightily because, okay, Ben and Colin, they snuck in and they got Colin at the end, which was a steal. I'm sure Ben was super excited to see his name there.
Yeah.
Guy that he plays with every week in and week out, knows his game.
Yeah.
Andrea and Jesse are not going to win a ton of female matches.
Yeah, I think that the women's there will be the struggle.
Yep. And then Ben is going to play. Yeah, you got in front of it. Ben is going to play mixed with either girl and win and do fine. Colin sucks at mixed.
Yeah.
I mean, may as well put me out there with him, and then we got the same chance. Because so if they're only winning, they're going to be a lot of dream breakers for these guys.
I think you're right. Well, and if you notice the draft number, so there were only 48 people drafted to the Premier League, 4 people, 12 teams. They have draft number 1, 43, 44, and 47. Yep. So that tells you they got their number 1 pick, spent 840,000 points there, and then waited all draft to the very last moment to draft the rest. I mean, again, pickleball memes, they said something like Colin Johns is realizing that his brother got 840,000 times more money than he did.
Yes.
Because you have 840,000 points for Ben Johns, 1,000 for Colin Johns.
Yeah, it's wild. And
wow.
It just shows in MLP you really really have to be able to play mixed because look, you could be a great men's or you can be a great gender player. But if you can't play mixed, then that's 2 matches of the 4.
That and singles. We don't see Colin tested in singles ever.
No. Now let's talk about a team that's on the complete opposite side of that.
Okay.
This is the team that these 2 teams I think are going to do the best this season. My hot take.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Arizona Drive.
Okay, let
came
me pull
out.
them up.
They took the 5th and the 13th overall picks with a combined total of 885,000 on Andre Daskew and Dylan Frazier.
Those 2 are going to be dangerous.
Dude, they are going to be so tough to beat. I mean,
is that your best men's team, do you think, that you've seen? Okay,
yeah,
so
for sure. Outside of Ben and Colin, right?
Okay. Again, Dylan and JW have beaten Ben and Colin in the past.
Yep. Daskew's playing out of his mind right now.
Andre's on a hot streak. I mean, this might be your number 1 men's team.
Yeah. And it could be really good. And then they've got Lacey Schneeman, who's proven she knows what she's doing, and Caitlin Christian. Yeah. The other cool thing about this team, both those guys can play mixed, lights out.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Andre can take over the whole court. He's so big and he's so long.
Yeah.
And so my prediction is Arizona Drive is definitely going to be top 3 team, if not the top team. Okay.
I like that.
The other team that I'm super high on is our very own DC Pickleball Club.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. We got Big Papa Jimmy. All right. One of my favorite players. He bounces around. He's huge. He hits the ball super hard. What I've heard, he's the hardest hitting male in the game. All right.
That's what they say.
And then you've got Dekel Bar, who hits it as hard, maybe close to as hard as he does, has a huge serve, has been around for many years, so he doesn't get scared in the moments, right?
Yeah.
So that team is also going to be really, really tough to beat.
I agree.
And then they have Rohrbacher and Elise. So as far as they are the most well-rounded team put together, in my opinion. And not just saying that because it's our local squad. I was actually terrified. I was like, please don't let me hate what they do because I've already got the hoodie. I'm going to get, I mean, I love the DC Pickleball team and I want this to be like our Commanders, like our Wizards, like DC Pickleball squad. Everybody's psyched because they're winning.
Right.
Right.
And they're going to. They're going to put good numbers up there. I agree with you that this is a solid team.
Yeah.
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 Super
are there
exciting.
Any other teams that you've seen that you think are really good?
I actually like the Dallas Pickleball Club.
Okay.
So that was one of my, if you, an hour ago before we started here, when I was kind of thinking, what do I like here? The Dallas Pickleball Club, I think, is one of my favorites. So you've got JW and Georgia Johnson at your 1 and 2 picks for that team. They went draft slot 12 and 17. For over 500,000 points, almost 600,000. So I love the 2 of them together, experience together. I almost want them to be split up just because, again, part of what I love about MLP is the different partnerships. You know, this is a partnership that we see every single weekend.
That might be the way they go, though, because putting Georgia smart. With Augie, I mean, you've got a little more. Georgia is an aggressive female player. He's an up-and-comer. I haven't seen his game that much. I must admit that I haven't seen much tape on him. But, yeah, JW with Hurricane would be fire as well.
That's true. So yes, they got JW Georgia, and then they took Hurricane Tyra Black and Augie Yee. So you've got a very well-rounded team. I think Augie is newer, but we've seen him make a splash already this year in singles and in mixed.
Correct.
The other piece about this team, we talked about the Dream Breaker. If there is a 2 and 2 split, it's got to go to the Dream Breaker. This is a good singles team.
Yes.
Every single person on this team can play singles.
Oh yeah.
So that is a really good pickup for that reason, because how many times do we see these competitions do actually come down to that Dream Breaker?
That's true. Yeah. And a little nugget for the people who don't watch pickleball as much as Christie and I do. One of Anna Lee's few losses in singles last year was to Hurricane Tyra.
Yep, it was.
She can definitely play lights out.
Yeah. So I really like that team. I think that might be my pick. And then you mentioned, of course, Arizona and DC pickleball teams. I think that those are great. I wanted to mention, let me slide down here.
Oh, go ahead.
You know where I'm going?
Yeah, your girl. I hope you're talking
St. Louis Shock.
Oh no, I was going to go Orlando Squeeze. There, but let's talk the Shock first.
So St. Louis Shock. So we've got Anna Bright, Hayden Patriquin, Gabe Tardio, and Kate Fahey. So Kate Fahey is the surprise here, of course. I think all the other names are really well known. Kate is not well known. But like we mentioned, Anna Bright must be a genius. She's doing her research. She's, got homework going on that she knows something about Kate Fahey and has some trust in her game. I think what it's going to come down to for Kate is her ability to deal under pressure. So if you go to last season, Anna Bright picked up Rachel Rohrabacher.
Yep.
We didn't know who Rachel was. Now we know who Rachel is, and she's continuing to prove herself.
And pat on our back. And then she was the fourth or fifth female overall pick. Fourth overall pick. Yep. So top 5 player.
She was the 14th pick, 4th woman.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Top 5 female player.
Yep.
And then Andre Dascu, we both predicted would be top.
Yep. And he's number 3 for men, 5th overall pick.
Yep.
But yeah, so 2 good picks there. But I think what made Rachel so great was her mental toughness, because again, she's coming into a situation where she's the lesser known person. She had to rise to the occasion with Anna Bright, which must have been so intense. So I think that Anna Bright must have her eye on a good girl. Like, okay, she's good. I see some good talent there, but Kate's going to come in and be in the spotlight, and everybody's going to be looking at her. And I'm very curious to see how she responds and what her mental toughness does there. So
I like it.
I'm waiting to see stuff, Kate. We all are. You must be good. I know you got skill.
And I think to close it out, let's talk about the Orlando Squeeze, because this is a team who spent all $1 million of their draft dollars. All right. And I think they put together a really solid squad. So you got to remember that the format is rally scoring.
Yes.
Okay. And therefore, having consistency will pay dividends. And you've got Staxrud, who is playing lights out singles right now. When he's playing with Pablo, he's a top 3, top 4 men's doubles guy out there. So he's playing really, really well. He plays great when it comes to mixed. So great first pickup for them. Jay DeVilliers is tried and true tested, and he's playing great pickleball these days.
He is.
And he's made some runs with Steve Smith, who was retired last year. All right. And now they're winning bronze in PPA tournaments together. So Jay definitely can play. Vivian and Paris are a studly female combo there.
I really like that pairing.
I do too. I do too. And so I personally think that the Orlando Squeeze, DC Pickleball team, and Arizona Drive will be the 3 most consistent at the top when it comes to the end of the year.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that. And I'm going to do my plug for Dallas Pickleball team.
And I think Dallas can be in there, like number 4, number 5, somewhere in there. All right. And then last but not least, who are the 2 worst teams that were drafted?
Interesting. Okay. Let me scroll through. Well, right now, I would say the Utah Black Diamonds.
Yeah.
Because of the drama.
Yep.
And like we said, I wish it wasn't that way for Alex's sake. I don't think I have a second right this moment.
Okay. So I'm going to help you.
Are you going to say Seattle Pioneers?
Nailed it. Utah Black Diamonds and the Seattle Pioneers are the most flawed teams for different reasons. All right. So the Seattle Pioneers blew their load on Ben. And then they decided they didn't want to spend any more money, which I think is crazy, because they could have put together a better team. Yeah. But they decided, we've got Ben and we're going to win with him no matter what. And the team is flawed. You got to win 4 matches. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think they'll be consistent to get 1 or 2. And like I said, and then go to a dream breaker. But even in a dream breaker, they don't have studly single players.
That's true.
Jesse's not going to play very well. Andrea Coop's good, but she's not hanging with the young and up and comers.
Right.
All right. And then Colin doesn't play. So I'm interested to see how they stack out, and if this draft strategy helped. And then again, back to the Black Diamonds, they spent no money. It seems like they don't care, and they didn't really put much thought into the whole thing.
Right.
Drafting Tyson and Tyler.
Right.
So those 2 teams are the most flawed on paper.
I can see that. Yeah. Skill wise, something different. I agree. But the combinations together, the history, what people bring to the table. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. We're on the same page.
We're on the same page. I don't like saying it, but
that's dangerous with me. I'm wrong a lot.
I feel you though. That's good.
Guys, that is the breakdown of the MLP Premier League draft. Our take on each team and the players that were taken out. We appreciate you. If you stuck with us this long, you're probably subscribed. But if you're not, hey, hit that subscribe button. Help us out.
And MLP. So this event lasts all year long. An event is actually coming to Washington, D.C. I want to say June 13th through the 16th.
It sounds right because I know I'm going to be around. I remember looking at it.
Yeah, I'm taking off work, I think. I'm going to try to at least. Yeah, that Friday. But so I think it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. So look at your calendar and see if you can go, because this is really cool. This is a big event for our town and for pickleball.
Yes. And I have a little idea in that I would love to have a whole Pickle Pulse section. We've got new t-shirts right now. You can get them and hit me up on Instagram. Here's the link to that. If we're not friends yet, you can hit me up and we'll connect. And then just tell me, DM me and say, hey, I want a shirt. They're going to be $15 each. It's just a cool black Pickleball shirt. And if we could get everyone showing up with that, I'm going to make some cardboard cutouts. We're going to get loud and rowdy. And that's the fun part of MLP, is that it is all about the party.
Yeah, I love it. It'll be a big pickleball party. So we'll see you in June.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Take care.